supposed to feel.
Yo, yo, yo. You're listening to the North Carolina podcast presented by FanDuel. This is WNS9 Plus. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have, as always, Ty, we have Jim, and we have our special guest tonight, Dallas Braden. Welcome.
What's going
back,
on,
buddy.
boys? Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. We've got
Always
something to talk about.
Yeah, always great having you on. And yeah, like we mentioned before the show starts, like we've got plenty to discuss. So I'm excited.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So how you been? How's this offseason treating you?
It's been good, man. It's been good. Staying active with the children. Just every offseason is daddy daycare, right? And you're just trying to play catch up, trying to give mama some alleviation, let her catch her breath. She grinds during the season while she's here alone most of the time. She's lugging kids back and forth to school, all the way back up north to come see me in Sacramento. We travel on the road, but really the offseason for me these days is just spent trying to catch up, spend as much time as I can with the family. You know, we're doing all kind of random stuff. My daughter got a ghost hunting kit for Christmas, so we've planned a trip to a couple old abandoned towns. She's really into like the paranormal, and so we're just we're having fun with that. There's a couple old like abandoned gas stations on the way between Los Angeles and Northern California. And we stop off at those and just kind of let her explore, let her go ham. They got a couple like ghost trails out here in SoCal. So yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, just playing daddy.
What is that kit? What comes in that kit? I'm interested.
Essentially it's like the two, like they're like metal rods, like at a 90-degree angle. They look like water finder sticks too. Have you ever seen those? Like that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No, whatever they are.
Yep. And yeah, so those it's like they got like an energy reader, like a meter reader. I mean,
Like
probably a lot of probably a lot of eyewash, but I mean, she's 8, she loves it. So yeah, we have a good time with it. I'm planning on, like, when we get to this town, it's called Calico. I'm going to like break off for a little while. Like, oh, daddy's got to take a phone call. And then I'm gonna meet them over like around the cemetery area, and I've already got like I'm just gonna start throwing rocks, start making noise. Like I've thought about taking a sound, like a noise maker, and hiding that, and just playing like so. I got some tricks up my sleeve. We'll see how it goes.
Ethan's got a
really
good
good.
point here. Like what do you do when you actually find a ghost? Like does your daughter have a plan?
We're about to find out, dude. We're
For the Ghostbusters to trap out and catch them, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and what's funny about that, dude, is I think it might have been her second Halloween. She was Slimer, and my wife and I were Ghostbusters. And so we dressed her up in a little Slimer thing, but we've got like the ecto packs. We've got the ghost trap. Like we've got all kind of different little souvenir type deals. And she's like, do these work? And I'm like, I think we're going to need batteries. I think we're better off with the kit. Let's just roll with the kit. Yeah. So we'll see. My wife shut down the Ouija board because she asked about a Ouija board. My wife was like, not in this house. It ain't happening. So I wonder where she gets it from.
Yeah. Sounds like she was born into it.
Yeah. It's DNA.
Well,
All right.
yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, Bernardo, we want to get into our before we get into the meat and potatoes of our show. Do we want to go ahead and do our stupid random question?
Yeah, we're gonna do a stupid random question. Now, again, as I warned you, Dallas, we've started this new little bit here. You're our first guest on with us doing this. And as a matter of fact, like I said, you also could be participating in it.
All right.
I unfortunately didn't put the intro on this show. So we're just going to go into it. So let's go ahead and play it.
Love it.
But we have the stupid wheel, the stupid question. Jim, what's our question of the night?
Our question tonight is, what's the least threatening animal that could still ruin your day?
Easily a sloth.
A slot.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it doesn't land on Dallas because then that makes this segment super easy.
Oh.
So
let's,
I hear it.
Oh,
but
I
we
thought
have-
I was supposed to answer the question.
No,
well,
you're good. You're good. You're
well,
good.
yeah, we
I
can
still
all
want to
kinda-
hear your answer too.
Yeah.
But
Let's
we have a
go ahead
list
and
of
spin this thing. Yeah.
just
I also want to
random
question
people,
why it's a sloth, but okay.
and we're gonna find out who gets that. Like I said, you're on here, so it'd be funny if it did land on you. So it's
Christian Curtis. It's Christian Curtis. Curtis last week.
no, it was Derek Diamond last week.
Okay, so it's Pirates prospect Christian Curtis.
You want to send it to him?
I'll send it to him.
All right. So yeah, we're asking Christian Curtis. Basically, what's the least threatening animal that could still ruin your day?
This
So
is
we'll find
good.
out.
This is a good teaser too. I just recorded a video for the top. We're 5 Pirates prospects who aren't in the top 10 right now, who could be by the end of the year. And just as a quick teaser, Christian Curtis is one of those 5.
Ooh. So what? You're sending that question to him, and he's going to respond with the answer, and you guys will post that answer.
Correct.
Hopefully,
As
We're
long as
hoping
he answers while we're still
So
live.
far, we're undefeated. Everyone's answered live on air.
Yeah.
Love that.
Guys,
Love
like
that.
I appreciate you, Christian Curtis here. A sloth, Dallas?
Yeah. I mean, come
A
on.
sloth?
Is anybody here? Let's start here.
What
Show
is
of hands.
scary about a sloth?
Exactly.
Well,
least
that's not the
threatening
question.
animal.
Well,
That's
or
the
at least what is? But what
Question
was
is
the end of
That
the
would
question?
that could ruin your day.
That could
how
still
is a
ruin
sloth
your
gonna
day.
Ruin your day.
Buddy, you got a sloth that's crossing the street and you need to get somewhere. How long is that going to take?
All right, you know what? That might be a great
Oh.
answer. That might be a great
So
answer.
I think my
Especially
answer.
when
I
it's
thought about this too.
Sacramento.
That's
Yeah,
a great
like
answer.
I get a sloth just over the median, like just over the yellow
Yeah.
line. Buddy, we're going to be here a while.
You got a point.
See, I was
Yeah.
going to say a deer. Like
Come on, deer.
Deers
You hit a
aren't very-
deer, you can end up
No.
with an antler in your eyeball.
that's what I mean. Like, but they're
Yeah.
not threatening. But like, you hit a deer, that could ruin. That
Yeah.
ruins your day. You know?
Yeah, you catch a big 12-pointer, you're toast, pal. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
bad news. Your car totaled, you to the hospital. I mean, you probably have venison afterwards, but still.
Mm,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Right. And it's threatening.
Yeah.
Like, and
I see-
also, like you said, a sloth is going to take forever to get across that street. A deer,
Yeah.
blink, it's
Quick.
gone.
And that's why they're not threatening. And again, that's why they're not threatening, but can
Right.
still ruin your day. You're not afraid of a sloth catching up to you.
Yeah.
Like you've probably got that thing beat in a foot race, I'd like to think. So you could retreat, no problem.
Well, I do. You might not. We
I'm
heard
an
about that workout earlier.
I'm an athlete.
Ah,
Washed.
it stinks being the second best southpaw on this show tonight.
Hey, we all have a role.
yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, maybe the Pirates will sign one of you because they could use a southpaw right now. They
You-
could
you
use
looking-
someone in the rotation. You coming back, Dallas? Any intentions? Maybe.
No, I appreciate being able to wipe myself. So my days of throwing baseballs, at least competitively, are long behind me.
Yeah.
But I love the idea, and we were talking about this before I came on. I love the idea that we've seen some of the moves that the Buccos have made, and the idea that there is still quote unquote meat on the bone, that there's still potential for moves to be made. Talking about adding a bat, I can appreciate that. One thing that I think that the Pirates can easily stand on, I think you guys would agree, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the arms, the rotation, right? We added a couple lefties in the bullpen, but what that rotation looks like, and sure, I understand you could always ask for more depth, but I mean, those are the shoulders to stand on. And if you get some support in the lineup like they've gotten, I mean, I said it the other day, I'm not calling the Pirates the winners of the offseason by any means. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when we talk about teams and where they were prior to the offseason and where they're at now, and you were to grade how they panned out and how those moves, I mean, they've got to be near the top. They've got to be near the top of the list, and teams that have just gotten better. Now, are there sexier moves to be made? Maybe. I always remind our guys on Baseball is Dead that, hey, let's not forget the Buccos were in on Kyle Schwarber. They made the offer, and I get laughed at. And however serious that offer may have been, doesn't matter. They actually had the audacity to make the phone calls and extend that offer, right? So we'll start there. But the idea that you can go into an offseason and conceivably plug in your best offensive player and bring Lau in. I mean, like that's not everybody gets to do that. And especially a team that has, unfortunately, a history of maybe not making those kind of moves. So, I mean, that was incredible to see.
My question to you, because I agree, like we've been begging this team to just go out there and make splashes and like add impact hitters, and like they've done it, right? And I agree, like I don't think they're quite there yet, but they're closer than they were 2 months ago. They traded Johan Oviedo, they traded Mike Burrows. I guess my concern is like, did they almost deal too much out of their strength to address this hitting, or what are your thoughts on that?
It was tough to see Oviedo go. I can tell you that was a tough one, but I think if you are dealing from the place of strength, what do they say in Vegas? Scared money don't make money. And if you think that you have a spot that you can sort of compensate for in the short term, and you have some guys, you have some horses that you can ride, well, at some point in time, you're going to have to put a saddle on them. You're going to have to ride them. You're going to have to see how that pans out. And if that means saying goodbye to somebody that has an extremely bright future, but it can net you offensive thump, middle of the order type power and good defense, like I think that's something that you have to entertain. And as opposed to just standing idly by and doing nothing, they made the move. They made the moves. And I think at the end of the day, if you're looking for moves to show you that there's a desire to be competitive and we're trying to break away from the old guard or from old habits die hard. And that is one way that you can make a splash, as you said. That is one way that we can try to make a move. And they did it. So, I mean, if Oviedo pans out and becomes an absolute stud, we're talking all-star, Cy Young finisher, like stuff, well, then that's going to be, it remains to be seen. That'd be a tough pill to swallow. I understand. But I think what Lau's going to bring to the table, what these guys are going to bring to the table can help you kind of digest that.
So you do a show with some Red Sox guys, Jared Carabas. Can you share a little bit of insight, at least some of our fans here? You guys talked a lot about the password, the Oviedo trade. What are the feelings on the Red Sox side about that deal?
Well, I think the Red Sox, as far as what we have seen unfold here recently, and especially over the last 48 to 72 hours, they're still trying to catch their breath. I feel like they have moved on from the password. They have kind of let that be what it'll be. And in pursuit of that middle of the order bat, well, that kind of took a back seat to landing one of the top tier arms on the market in Suarez. And so I think with their excitement about Marcelo Meyer and the fact that he has an open door over there at third base, I think they're probably, they want to see that happen. They want to see that work. And if they can see that work, if that's going to be something that can happen, then I think that helps them kind of forget about the password even more so. I mean, this is a guy who, look, it's not like he plays the infield, right? This is an outfielder, but I mean, they needed thump. They needed something, and that is still something they're after. And there's still guys that they are pursuing. We talked about Brendan Donovan a little bit. I mentioned Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw might be the more valuable guy. Nico Horner getting ready to hit free agency. Like there's ways that they could get better. I know they're in on Paredes a little bit, so we'll see.
By the way, we haven't answered our question. Yeah. So shout out Christian Curtis. 6 minutes to respond. What's the least threatening animal that could still ruin your day? He says his golden retriever making him late by jumping in the pool right before he leaves the house.
See, we're all about time delay.
Yeah,
all about time delay.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's a good point. That would ruin your
Terrible
day.
inconvenience.
Yeah. Huge. Yeah. Good luck retrieving that retriever out of the deep end. That dude's just going to be swimming laps. Ain't happening.
Golden retrievers. Gotta love them, right?
Oh, they're the best. No, so So Garcia, I think my main, and I think it was a good trade, like Johan Oviedo for Joe Stinson Garcia. That's a trade I think the Pirates need to make. My concern with that trade is I don't know how much it helps this team in 2026, which that's the goal right now, is like they've got to win right now. And you look at the trade deadline last year, and they traded David Bednar for Rafael Flores. And then you come back and you trade Oviedo for Joe Stinson Garcia. And I'm not saying either of those two trades are bad baseball moves. It's just like, do they help your 2026 squad? And I don't think either of them really do. I'm excited for what I think Garcia could maybe be, but he could also not be that guy.
Right.
Whereas Oviedo's kind of, you know what to expect, I think, out of Oviedo. So.
Well, and again, you want depth, right? I mean, like when you think about what the Red Sox just did, understanding what they need, what they're in need of, and the move that they made, they need a bat and they signed a pitcher. And Oviedo represents just even more depth for them now. I mean, you've got arguably one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball at the top of that rotation with Crochet now and Suarez. Like this is a rotation that has some depth to it now. And whether they decide to move on from, Connolly early, or I don't see them moving on from Tolley, but I mean, buddy, he just adds to the mix. He adds to the mix. So to your point, I think you make a great point about whether or not there's going to be impact there from Joe Stinson.
But it sounds like overall you're pretty positive on how the offseason's gone. Yeah. I mean, I think Brandon Lau is just like a perfect fit. I love Jake Mangum and kind of what he brings to the team. Mm-hmm. I think he's a really nice piece. And Mason Montgomery is a guy who I think he's got the potential to make that trade like a huge win for the Pirates. Just unreal stuff. I remember watching him in that first series against the Rays last year and like just being wowed by Mason Montgomery's stuff.
Yeah. Well, you add like the idea of what the Pirates have done is you've added to multiple areas of need, right? You have guys that now bring a little thump to the lineup. You've got guys that can help you defensively, and you also have guys that can get outs for you in the bullpen. You need help there, just because we talked about saddling up the horses and letting them ride or riding them. They're going to need help, right? They're going to, I mean, Paul Skeens, it feels like he doesn't need help. He needs help. He's going to need help. And so if you have answers down there in the bullpen and you have the ability to match up, that's something that just gives you a ton of confidence moving forward and identifying those guys. I talked about Mangum being a guy who, like, you talk about putting the bat on the ball, you talk about just setting the table, giving opportunities, whether that's at the top of the lineup or whether he's somebody that's able to find a hole at the bottom of the lineup and keep the line moving. That's really what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. For sure. We were talking about this yesterday in our Discord, which if you're not in our Discord, join our Discord. But we were talking about how Skeens needs help. And I looked it up last year. The Pirates were 5-13 and Paul Skeens starts where he gave up a run. So like if Paul Skeens isn't putting up zeros.
Yeah. If it's not 7 shut, it's almost like DeGrom-esque, right?
Yeah. 5-13 when he doesn't put up zeros. Like that's insane.
I mean, it's worse than DeGrom, honestly.
Yeah, it's tough. You give up a run, like you go 7 shut, you have a chance. You go 7-1, it's an L. It's an L over half the time. Like that is tough sledding right there for Paulie. Tough sledding. And if it's not, and let's be honest, we're not backing up the Paul Skeens outing like that with another 7 shut performance from the next 3 guys in the rotation, right? Like there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be growth that has to happen. But if you're not stringing those type of outings together, you start to see the glaring hole. You start to see the glaring void in what's happening. You got to score runs. You got to score runs. So back to the Oviedo point, like if you got to move off of him in order to give yourself a fighting chance offensively, then it's something that you have to entertain.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I think we've all been positive of what's happened so far in the offseason. Still need some more. And Ben Cherington's come out and said, like, there's, he's looking to get another bat, preferably on the left side of the infield, another reliever and replenish that starter. What would you like to see next for the Pirates?
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think I always talk about run production, run prevention departments, and I think the conversation and the theme that we're having right now is really kind of run production based, and to the point of trying to shore up the infield or trying to bring some more pop, if you will. Why can't the Pirates be in on somebody like a Brendan Donovan? Right? Why can't the Pirates be in on some of the names that we mentioned? Now, whether they will be or not remains to be seen. But I feel like that's where I want to remain positive and I want to remain hopeful about the Schwarber carrot that got dangled. Because if that's even a thought, if that's even a thing, if you had whatever amount of money that you had to offer him, and that's just one player, and let's say for whatever reason, Kyle Schwarber fell down the stairs and was like, you know what? I think I want to go to Pittsburgh. And he took the deal. He took the offer. Like I'm almost curious to see if the Pirates would be like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you
Sure about
because
that?
if that was even a thought, well, how much of that money that was on the table there would they be willing to reallocate elsewhere? And
Right.
and that's where I try to remain optimistic in their pursuit of some of the free agents left.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good like thought exercise, right? Because the money that they basically added with Lau and O'Hearn really equal what Schwarber would have been. But as far as that
actually,
offer goes.
It's even less.
And then add Soto in there too. Like
Yeah.
that's slightly that's about the same. But I feel like if Schwarber would have, hit his head on something like you said and been like, yeah, let's go to Pittsburgh. I think at that point Keller would have been the pitcher traded, which frees up another 16 million as opposed to, Burrows and Oviedo. I don't know how much money's out there. I mean, payroll's sitting at like 92 million right now. There's some reports saying that it's not going to go up. There's some reports saying they've got 110. I mean, they were making offers to Okamoto. So like there's got to be money left in there somewhere. Just, I guess I won't believe it until I see it.
That's kind of how I've taken it from afar too. Is this is exciting. It's something that we haven't felt in a while, but is it fair to say that you've teased me? Now I want to see more. Like let's see what this plays out as. I want to see how this ends up, because at the end of the day, it could all be lip service. It could all be Ben Cherington saying, yeah, we'd like to, sorry, it just didn't happen. It didn't work out that way, but we're confident in the club we have now moving forward. And that could very well be the end of it. Do I think that will be? I don't. I think there will be another edition, but I don't know how impactful or how needle moving it's going to be at the end of the day.
I think I'd agree with you, but to pivot off that a little bit here, and I don't think there's a lot of money left to spend either, and I don't think they would spend it on pitching. I think a lot of what they need is some left-handed pitching, though. Jose Quintana, Tyler Anderson, a couple guys out there that might not be the most expensive. Any thoughts on those two guys and just what a veteran type of arm could bring to this rotation? Because they are a young group.
Well, you're talking about stabilization, right? You're looking for guys who can take the ball. You're looking for guys who, for better or worse, you have an idea kind of what you're going to get, what you can expect to get, if you will. And I think that's the biggest takeaway when you're looking at adding a veteran to the mix is this somebody that's going to take the baseball? Is this somebody that I can depend on? Because, I mean, what Quintana last year, how many starts did he make? 20, 25, somewhere in between there?
This is going to be speed
Something.
dating.
And I think, I mean, look, sub 4 ERA, you can start there, but there's going to be balls in play. That's the thing, is there's going to be balls in play. There's not a ton of swing and miss there. And that's where shoring yourself up defensively comes back into play is, all right, if there's not going to be somebody, and look, very rarely are guys at the back end of a rotation going to be the swing and miss super dominant types. And you have to make peace with that. So if it's about accounting for innings, that goes back to the conversation we have about, letting some of those guys at the top of the rotation eat and seeing what we can get out of them. And from there, 4 and 5 spots. All right, just give us a chance to win. But like the conversation we were just having, what does that look like? Like what can you reasonably expect out of a Quintana every 5 days? Is he giving you the 6 2/3? Is he giving you the 6 every 5 days. I mean, you might squeeze 5 out of him. You might squeeze 5 2/3 out of him, but there's a lot of ball game left to cover. That's a lot of outs for this bullpen to cover. And if the score is inevitably 1-0, the bad guys when Quintana leaves, man, how we doing? That's where we got to. That's where you got to put runs up.
Yeah. So, you mentioned about Paredes though, also with the Red Sox. I think he'd be a good fit, into some level in PNC. I know the park itself isn't a good fit, but I think he'd be a good upgrade. What do you think about that, Dallas?
Paredes.
Is there going to be a battle between the Red Sox and the Pirates for him, for his services?
I would like for that to be the case, right? I would like to be I would like to be the winner of that if that were the case, for a lot of selfish reasons for me. I mean, that would give me a lot of firepower on my podcast for sure.
Of course.
Yeah. The idea that the ballpark might not be as suitable for him as maybe a different place where he can just dive over the dish and hook on that monster, that probably bodes a little bit better for him. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is where a guy like Triolo fits into this. I think that's an interesting conversation because, I mean, how long do we think it's going to be until Connor shows up? Like, he has an opportunity, maybe to break camp, maybe. Right. Do you guys see? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I think he has the opportunity.
Yeah, I think they're going to publicly have an opportunity, but I think their mind is going to be made up prior to spring training on whether or not like he's really going to have an opportunity. And even as good as he's looked, like he's never played above AA. He's only played 40 games at the level. Like, he probably could use a little bit more time at the upper levels. Like, you could reasonably make that excuse and people won't like slam the service time manipulation on you. So I think he's probably the best player in the organization right now. Like, I could make that argument, but I have a feeling he's not reasonably going to have a chance to make the team.
Yeah, we're talking what was OPS over he hit 20 bombs, right? Over those 3 levels.
Yeah, 24 or something, I think. Like
like 21
homers, 65 stolen bases, hit 333. Yeah,
940 OPS, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
41. Yep.
And
that's a dude
better at every level.
Yeah, it's a dude. And whether or not the seasoning at AAA is something that he needs, I think I agree that it's an out, meaning, look, we want to see a little more from him. We want to see if there's a refining of the approach and whatever that may mean to them, whether they want to see him start to get to off speed a little more comfortably. Can he handle fastballs where he's being exposed? If that's a thing, like I think those are all reasonable question marks that they might have, but man, it's because I think to myself, like, what conversation are we having if it's June and like the Bucks are 5 out and there's been a struggle offensively and he continues to tear it up. He's still hitting because he hasn't hit under 320 or whatever it is at any level, right?
Nope. Right.
So what conversation are we having then? Like, is he up when he's able to get up? Like, is it one of those things where, look, as soon as, wouldn't you know it, his evolution and the clock just happen to strike at the same time. You hit him up here. Like, if it's one of those things, that's going to be, I don't want to say tough to digest, but that's going to be one of those things where you're like, man, what if he started out here? Like, what kind of impact, like, is there, but we talk a lot about not being able to win the division in the first month of the season, but it feels like you can sure lose it. I mean, I watched firsthand what a 20+ game skid early in the season can do to a team. That was tough to watch. Tough to watch the green and gold try to rebound from that. They did eventually, but far a little too late. But yeah, I think Connor Griffin's emergence and maybe Triolo. That's why I brought Triolo up is finding a home for him and him being consistent, him having a consistent place to be, because that's what we saw at the end of last year, right? Was consistent run, consistent at bats, consistent production. And I know what it's like for guys to go out there and have question marks over whether or not they're going to be in the lineup today or over the next week. What does that look like? And your timing. There's several things that get thwarted. And so I think that could be a big piece to the puzzle, is figuring out how those two can impact the lineup regularly and when that happens.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you brought that up about Triolo, because he's someone that we've talked about. Like, he just drives us crazy at times, because there'll be moments where it's, man, like Jared Triolo's on fire. He looks like he knows what he's doing up there. He looks like a really good major league player. But then there will be stretches where he's the worst hitter in baseball. Like, literally, you look at his stats and they're 250th out of 253 qualified hitters. And you're not the first person who's come on here and said that, like, you basically need to make sure these players know what, like, their role is. And I guess to that is, how can you really put trust in the guy, though, to be like, hey, you are, like, this is your job going forward, when, like, he really hasn't been able to show you that he can do it consistently like that. I think that's the thing for me, is like, I would love to find a place for Triolo. And I think the best spot for him is bouncing around and playing a bunch of positions. But it's like, every time they try to do that, it doesn't work. What works is trotting him out at third base every day.
And that's where, and so, like, I mean, we've run into this before, have we not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got an answer defensively. You've got a glove first type of guy that you can pencil in over there and feel pretty good about what you're getting over there defensively. But you're waiting. You're playing the waiting game for the bat to catch up, or the bat to just be even moderately serviceable. And if there aren't other options that you feel even equally as comfortable or confident in, then I almost ask, what are we losing? What are we losing in giving him that opportunity, giving him that spot of consistency until he proves that I can't do this consistently? And then from there, I think you have more of an argument, or more of a foundation, if you're the organization, to bring him in and go, hey, look, this is what our hopes were. This is where we are falling short. We think ultimately you're probably better served moving around right now. Until you can figure out how to take ownership of the position and ownership of the spot in the lineup, we are better served with you spelling guys and you being in the lineup as consistently as we can. But that looks like it's going to be in different places. And there's really, like, once the player has been given that leash and does not prove it, there's not much else to say. The numbers will speak for themselves. But until I think a player is given that opportunity, the player will always feel like, I haven't been given the runway. I need the leash. Give me the runway and let me see if I can take off. Because if you just keep telling me that I can't do it and I never get the chance to, well, then I think we're both kind of staring here at each other going, who's going to blink? Like,
and every time they've given him, a starting spot, he's hit. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So
it's just that it always comes after he's batted 200.
Yeah, it's
like
always
after August, and no one believes in it.
And
outside of me, is in Jared Triolo. I trust that's my shortstop until Connor Griffin is ready, unless of course he ends up being the third baseman, and we'll go from there, I guess. But I'd prefer, again, my whole thought is, I'd prefer, just like you mentioned, Triolo. He's best suited. He's so versatile, being that guy you can plug and play all these different positions, spelling guys and whatnot. And of course, like, if an injury happens, you feel comfortable with him sliding in there for that meantime or whatnot. So, but yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I mean, you seem pretty excited about the Pirates offseason so far. What's your outlook for the upcoming season? Do you have a wins prediction right now or something?
Oh man. Well, look, I would like to throw a wins prediction out there. I think it's, dare I say, it's too early, just simply because I think we all want to see if there's more to happen. I mean,
yeah, but that's rationally thinking, and who wants to do that?
Well, then let's go 82 wins. Why not?
All right.
Why not? That's a jump. I mean, I think
it is.
I think calling for the division might be a little aggressive. But I think what is that? What is that? Plus 10, plus 12?
Yeah.
Is that from last year?
72 last year.
The over under on FanDuel right now is 74.5.
I'm taking the over. Hammer the over.
Yeah, I'm
So
hammering that
FanDuel
over.
74.5 is the over.
Hammer the over.
I'm with you.
Hammer the
I
over.
think they're an 83 win team right now.
I love that. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I think low 80s seems about right.
Yeah, I mean,
That's barring injuries. I mean,
Right.
stuff
Sure.
could happen.
sure, but see, and that number could even change if the guys we're talking about actually produce, actually start to get their act together, if you will.
O'Neal Cruz gets his shit together. Brian
We
Reynolds
haven't
has a
even talked
better
about O'Neal
year.
Cruz. Yeah.
I mean,
O'Neal.
Spencer
I mean,
Horwitz
this
continues. It's like,
that could be a
It's not
massive
crazy.
catalyst. No, not at all. O'Neal Cruz just decides to show up and become the absolute freak that he has shown to be at times. That's trouble. That is trouble. That's a Rubik's Cube that people are going to have a difficult time figuring out how to solve if
And-
he starts to put it together consistently.
and we're not even talking about him being an MVP type player anymore. It's just be a good Major League Baseball player, O'Neal.
Yeah.
Be a little more consistent. Be a 3-win player. You're at that point with him now. You can do that. There's enough talent now around the lineup, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Sure.
Well, and that was the idea of bringing guys like Lau and O'Hearn in, right? Is here's the help, here's the consistency that we can sort of plug in. And I think Lau said it early on. Like you start to look at what that 2, 3, 4, 5, how that could shape up. Those can become turbulent waters to navigate for opposing pitchers. If they're clicking, that becomes tough.
You going to be down spring training this year, Dallas?
We should be. Yeah. I'll be down. I think probably at the beginning of March is what we're thinking in Florida.
Cool.
I think we'll, that should coincide. We're going to be there end of February, beginning of March. So,
Okay. Nice. Yeah. It was good to see you guys last time. Hopefully we can run into each other again.
Yeah.
you'll have to
for
talk,
sure.
you'll have to talk Captain Chris of the Renegades of Rotunda into coming down then too.
Yeah. Was he out there? Did he get out there last year at all?
He was out there
Oh,
last year. It was
last
towards the end of spring training. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it will
Yeah.
be there though. March 13th, I heard, to the 16th, which I think I'm coming down as well. But and again, Captain Chris, I mean, we are a mutual friend of ours. I have a little story for you.
Oh,
I have
please.
a bit of
give
a
it
story for you. And this just happened. This was Monday night, Dallas.
Oh, I love. Uh-oh. We got two heads shaking and laughing. I can't wait.
If you know my wife and you don't, but these two do, they can vouch for me. The loudest person you've ever heard. Everything is a level 10. No matter what
Love
it
her.
is, it's
Love
the
her
most
already.
minute little thing. It's the biggest thing in the world, right?
Love it.
So Monday night, she's screaming, she's texting, come here, you get this. You'll never believe who this is. And I go out there and it was just whatever. I'm like, I don't care about this. I go back in. We always have a party chat on PS5. That's how we talk a lot of times here. An hour later, she's screaming my name again. You have to come out here. You won't believe who this is. And I ignore her, obviously. She texts me, come out here. Nothing, I ignore her. So then she finally gives me the slide, text. Oh, I guess you're not going to come. So I go, and Cody was on. And I go, Cody, I'll BRB. So I walk out there and she goes, please tell me this is who I think it is. And she plays this video. And I'm going to play it right now for you. Just so you
This
can
is
get
going to
the
be
same
speed
reaction.
dating. I think this is hysterical, and I'm ready to meet some new guys.
You have a badge number, he has a badge number.
Let's go.
So you're gonna write down his first name, and then you're gonna circle let's talk or no thank you.
Okay,
You both have to agree to get a match.
okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start our first date.
So let's just go over a few things, Chris. I have
All
some
right.
questions for you.
I have some answers.
Do you own your own tuxedo?
Yes, I do. As
Okay.
a matter of fact, I do. And I can tie a bow tie. Actual bow
That's
tie.
like a bonus point.
But I'm like nervous for her. No, I'm nervous
You're
for
on
him.
iPads,
Right.
too.
I said that wrong.
How many times have you been to Disney World? I like all kinds of guys. And I have a whole list of things that I require.
So there you have it. I watched that and I was like, John Quill, you've redeemed yourself. You're the MVP of the night. She's been on this kick. She's been watching Dance Moms before she goes to bed. That's how she just falls asleep. I tell you, I saw that and I lost my shit.
That is, I mean, that is something. Well, first of all, that is footage that I am going to need, like,
I got you
immediately,
right now.
immediately, because he has mentioned my name a time or two in his stand-up acts, and he has sent me footage of that. So I think it would only be fair for me to also have footage of him that I can share with the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
my goodness.
That's how I felt too. Because like him and I feel like have a battle of like who we can meme the most. And I told him like he's toast at this.
Oh.
He's done.
He's cooked. Yeah.
Oh, straight cooked. I'm talking
Agreed.
sizzling to Davy Jones' locker with Captain Chris. Oh my. Oh,
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
yes.
Chris and Abby Lee.
Oh my. Well, give your wife my best. That is an MVP move right there. That is, I mean, you want to talk about finding gold? My God, that is absolute gold.
Absolutely. And this, he said it happened. This was like 12, 15, something like that years ago, which by the way, he wasn't 33. They just put that on there and lied. It's like, oh yeah, that makes you like 48 now.
Yeah. That's
But,
all right.
right. But oh my God, so good. So good.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. So I feel I'll let you leave on that one.
I
That was
need
the
to go.
parting gift. Yep.
Well, I appreciate it, boys. Thank you for having me as always. Great to talk some Bucko baseball with you guys. And I look forward to seeing you out in spring training.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll see you down there in Bradenton for sure.
Yep.
Sounds
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.